All right, today for accountability, I'm going to train on being accountable. Being accountable has a lot to do with taking an accounting of yourself, right? An accountant tracks what? Numbers, right? And this is something I created because when I was in college, because I have always been very accountable, right? And most people are not accountable. Most people are pathological liars. Who's the number one person that you lie to? Yourself. Right? You say you're going to do things and you don't do it. Right? And then how do you feel after that? And you feel shame. Who feels your shame? You do. Other people don't care about your shame. In fact, is being shameful attractive or not attractive? Do you attract people or repel people if you feel shame? So if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, what's going to happen to the people around you? Are they going to be attracted to you or are they going to repel you? Right? For your clients, your intimate partners, people that you mate, you date, you socialize with, all of the people around you, the more that you live in shame, the more you will repel people away from you. Right? And so this is the first chapter, is shame. And this is where we actually were talking about today. Right? In general, we can say that the lower end of the scale is associated with low vibrational frequencies, low energy, low power, poor life circumstances, poor relationships, less abundance, less love, and poor physical and emotional health. Because of low energy, needy people drain us of all levels. They tend to be avoided and find themselves surrounded by people on the same level, i.e., in jail. Right? And so you realize that people are pathological liars. And the more that you catch yourself being aware of what you're doing, the more that you can accept what you do and be truthful and then attract truthful people. Now, at the same time, there's an aspect of being responsible and accountable for what you do, and then also understanding that people are going to be the way people are. Right? Just because something happens doesn't always mean it's your fault. Does that make sense? I was listening to something this morning while we were working out, and there's a difference between fault and responsibility. Right? It's not your fault if you grow up with parents that abuse you, but it is your responsibility to get away from them. It's not your fault if someone cancels an appointment. It is your responsibility to either reschedule them or call someone else. It's not your fault if somebody charges back. It is your responsibility to see if they can come back to something else or if you have to let them go. It's your responsibility to handle one thing in every situation. What is that?
Yourself.
Yourself, specifically your what? Yeah, your emotion. Right? It's how you respond to situations. That's why the word responsibility is literally the ability to respond. That's what the word responsibility comes from. Responsibility is your ability to respond. Respondability. Right? And now typically we react, right? We react autonomically. That means subconsciously. When we respond, we typically respond consciously. So when somebody has a RDR, what is it? A what? Reactionary defense response. Right? It's a reaction. Right? And so you want to start catching yourself, having less and less of these, because most people are pathological liars. It's not your fault that they are. It's just your responsibility to be conscious, to be in acceptance of it, and then let people go easily and effortlessly. So many people, as you run a team, as you run a business, as you run a sales organization, you're going to have clients, prospects, people tell you things that they don't mean. And they're really lying to themselves. And they don't want to lie to you because what happens is, where do we start lying all the time? Yes, when? In our childhood. Why?
Protect yourself.
So you don't get in trouble.
From who?
Your parents.
And our
Teachers.
Right, because what happens if you come home or you lie or you stole the cookie out of the cookie jar and mom says, who stole the cookie out of the cookie jar, and you say me, what's typically going to happen? You're going to get in right. Some people would get beat, some people would get yelled at, some people would, and how old are you when that situation happens? Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And is it your fault that that happens? No, but it's your responsibility to learn how to master your emotions. And the most important thing you can learn how to master in business is your emotions. We went out to dinner Friday night, me and Yuritsa, and she said, I don't know how you do it. And I credit all of it to David Hawkins and Jeffrey Combs. All of it. 100% David Hawkins, Jeffrey Combs, and God. None of it is Josh. I'm just responsible. I just took the ability to respond and I hold it all the time. This is my responsibility to be successful. I don't want to wake up every day. I don't want to do this every day. Do I sound normal today? No, I'm feeling stuffy. After Adam Frater out, I got a massage, and I don't know, I think it was all this stored up, bent up stress and energy that while she was doing it, my nose just started dripping. I had a weird response to it, right? And my body had a reaction that was autonomic, unresponsible, and I think what happened is all these negative emotions that were stored in my body were coming out. Now that doesn't mean that I have a cold. That doesn't mean that you're gonna get sick because I have a stuffy nose. What that means is that I have stress that I'm holding on to and that I'm responsible to figure out how to do that. So what did I do? I had soup, I went to the steam room every day, I took it easy, I relaxed, I did nothing, I meditated 2-3 times a day, and I am back to 95%. I have a little bit of a stuffy nose, but I don't have a cold, I'm not sick, I'm just a little stuffed. And when you're stuffed, where is your stuffiness happen? Does anyone say, oh, my arm is just so stuffy today? No, it's in your nose, it's in your, right? And what happens up here? Yeah, it's because you're overthinking, overworking. These situations, it's your responsibility to take it easy when you feel that way. It's a responsibility to understand why things happen, right? And it's not anyone's fault, right? But you want to understand yourself. And I started watching that show, The Starting Five. Did you watch that?
No.
It's really good, right? But it just shows I love watching Hard Knocks or Starting Five, behind the scenes, Undercover Billionaire, Shark Tank, behind the scenes of what successful people do. So you can see, I noticed, my masseuse was telling me, she was like, Josh, your back is horrible. You're so lucky that you're 28 years old, but you need to go to the chiropractor, you need to rest more, you need to take care of your body. And so then I started watching Starting Five. Why would I watch that right after? Because I want to see what? I want to see how the top athletes in the world take care of themselves. So I need to do more for that. I told Yuritsa, that doesn't mean I'm never going to slow down, but I just need to spend more time, money, and effort working on Josh. Right? Instead of just go, I need to be dedicated to taking time to be responsible to this situation. And so many people will just ignore it and keep going. They chalk it up to being sick, they go to the doctor, they take medication, and then they continue doing what they do without being responsible at all for how they feel. And when you're being accountable in business, my responsibility to you is to show you the way, to light the way for you. But I'm not going to be responsible for your success. I'm not responsible for your success. I'm responsible for giving you the tools and resources and then seeing if you do it. And most of the time, it's not your fault, right? But most of the time, just because a large percent of the populace lives in a state of fight or flight and is not committed to working on themselves, most people that we hire are going to be what? Logical liars. That's what they're going to be. And it's just part of the process, right? So you want to start being responsible to yourself. And accountability has to do with responsibility to yourself. That's why I created this, right? So my dad has a weekly thing that he does. He just has a one-page weekly thing that he does with check boxes and a place Like my dad's system is he's one list of all the things he has to do every week, and every morning he highlights the ones he has to do that day, and then when he does them, he crosses it off. That's my dad's system. And I was like, okay, that's a good system. Then I took a Tony Robbins course and I took his system. Then I read the compound effect and I took his system. And then I had Jim Rohn tell me that you need a gratitude journal and a notes journal and a personal development journal and all these things. And so I found myself sweating my you-know-whats off at University of Miami, carrying like 8 journals. And I was like, I would spend time. I mean, I would party really hard, but I would wake up every single day and be dedicated to my craft, no matter what. Like I would literally lock myself in my room in the frat house and still read Think and Grow Rich every single day, and still do my system every single day, and still do everything every day, and meditate all the time. All right, but I started doing this then because I had an intentions journal, I had a quotes journal, a personal development journal, a gratitude journal, a giving journal, a goals journal, and an action journal. And I was like, why am I doing this? I was carrying them around, sweating so much, and I was so confused. And they were all different colors, so I would try to remember. And I was like, you know what if I just put them all on one page? And that's when I created this. And in true honesty, I've done this for the I created it in February 2014. And when I was in high school, I started doing that. And then I read Compound Effect in April 2014. Then I went to college, and I really finalized it when I was studying for my midterms in like January or whatever month it was, December, January 2014. And I've done it every single quarter, minus probably, 10 of them, right, for the whole entire time. Self-accountable. Nobody comes to me. You know how I'm all over you guys? There are 0 people all over me. 0. I do it because that's what's gonna make me successful. I do it because of my why, about why I wanna do what I do. I don't care if you have to watch one of those videos on lifehappens.org every morning to remind yourself why you do this. Right? But you're not just here to sell and make money. That cannot be the reason that you're here. It can't. That has to be a byproduct of the fact that you're able to help people with their finances and empower them to be in control of their lives and their finances. Like when I heard you guys talking about a plane today, right? How you're scared of planes. I am totally at peace if I died right now. My family's gonna get $10 million. How cool is that? How cool is that? You know how hard I'd have to work to build something that could be sold for $10 million? It actually eliminates a lot of my fears. Well, I used to be scared of heights. When I went to University of Miami, I was super scared of heights. And then all my older friends lived in like apartment buildings here, and I would literally stand right here at the door, and then we'd be at a pregame, and I'd be like, okay, I can go a little further. And then eventually I'd look over, and now last night we were at Nisha's, he's on the 72nd floor, and I'm leaning over the railing. But I have total peace, and life insurance actually has something to do with it. If I died in a plane crash, me and Yuritsa pray every time we go on a plane. If I died, my whole family would become millionaires. You know what my dad and my mom and my sister and Yuritsa would do if they got $10 million tomorrow? My dad wouldn't have to work ever again, my mom wouldn't have to work ever again, my sister would probably go shopping. Yuritsa would probably retire both of her parents, everything would be great. Right now, I know that Josh Waxman in the future is going to be worth way more than $10 million, so cool. And they know that too, or they'd probably just kill me. But you have to know that about yourself. And you have to be understandable. It's not your fault. This is just how most people are. Right? And so the more that you transcend your own levels of consciousness, the more you can be accountable to your own numbers, the more that you can be responsible to yourself. Because as you keep growing, the only person you have to answer to is you when you go home and you look in the mirror. 2 years ago, I was making $50,000 to $80,000 a month at Capital Infusion. I had a sexy Venezuelan girlfriend. I had a lot of friends. But when I went home every night, I knew I was a pathological liar. Because I was doing blow every single day. I was smoking bong every single day. I was drinking 3 to 4 times a week. I was having sex all the time. I was doing everything that they tell you not to do, but we live in Miami, so we just accept it. And I knew I had to change. Right, like you know when you go home what the truth is. When it's you and you right here in the mirror. Yeah. But it's okay. Because today's just I'm just teaching you how to be accountable to yourself, and it starts with being relaxed and honest. You have to be relaxed and honest with yourself. And so when you go home, you know when you walk out of here if you gave it a good job or not. You know at the end of the week, did you do the right thing or did you get distracted? Did you do this or are you lying to me, yourself, your pod leader, and your family when you go home?